welcome back to the Quintessential Quintuplets anime review, episode number 10. Yes. I'm thinking, you're probably thinking, what was the last show anime review you did to reach episode 10? The answer is Uzuki-chan Wants to Hang Out. That was the last one to hit it. I mean, yes, there's going to be some, basically, that's going to hit beyond that this year. Yes, and before I talk about the episode, the next one to probably hit more than 10 this year is probably going to be How Not the Seven Demon Lord and Kokosama Love is War. Yeah, those two will definitely hit above 10 episodes for the interview. Oh yes, definitely. I'll discuss more about How Demon Lord in that video. Yep, now this is the new episode of the series. This is the battle. Begin the Offensive. Yes, the 19th episode of the series. Now, there's overall about 5 more episodes left. I think that's it. Yeah, just 5 more episodes left. Now, this episode finishes up chapter 59, which is the last chapter that was part of the second year exam arc, and adapts the first 4 chapters out of 9 for the Scrambled Eggs arc. Roughly 50% of this arc in just 1 episode. Like, that's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't also be surprised if somehow that... Well, technically there's about 5 chapters left. They went from 60 to 63. They went from, like, for page... Well, technically for 60, they had all for that chapter. All but the last 3 pages. Yep. Thing starts up when Nino going to visit her father in front of their old apartment. Which, by the way, they don't go back to it. She just talks to him briefly, in the sub, he refers to her as Nino-kun, which she for her thought that was creepy. The fact that he referred to by that honorific, which I've heard that referred by that particular term in anime, like case closed, for example. And as far as I can tell, the women have no problem with the word "kun" attached to their name. Apparently, Nino basically has a problem with it. Maybe when they dub it, they probably refer to her as Little Nano or like Darl or whatever, basically. It depends upon exactly what they do when the dub comes out for the thing. Which, I have not heard anything exactly when the dubs will start for this season. I mean, we're already like a little over halfway through the season already, and there's still no dub. And yet, Dr. Stone, just last week, already released its first episode dubbed, even though that the season itself is already 6 episodes in. Yeah, almost halfway through it. And yet this show has not released its first episode dubbed yet. Excuse me. So, at the chatting frame, and then all of a sudden, of course, Futo shows up, tells like I can go back to work. He's like, I'm taking her, and I'm like, fine. And she when she was talking to her father, she says, yeah, we're going to stay apart a little bit longer, and we're all going to get jobs. And despite that, he really wants them to move back in the apartment. There's some more with this later. So they all go back. Like basically, Nino and Futuro drive on his boss's motorcycle back to the cake shop where Futuro works at, and she tells Futuro, though it's later revealed that he actually could hear her say this. She told him, "I love you," and they actually made a change, a really big change, and this is a change that everyone can agree with because this was done even for the writer to do, where Nino was riding in the back of the motorcycle with a helmet on, and yes, this is illegal in every country, and well, in the anime, she actually bothered to put a helmet on, which. Kudos for the anime to remember that, yeah, this is dumb. We're putting a helmet on her. So, pretty much, they drive back, and of course, they all celebrate. They all share each other food over basically past the thing. Now, what happens next is quite interesting. Now, when they start adapting chapter 60, they apparently skipped over the first few pages of the chapter for reasons. And they kind of slightly changed basically what happens next. Now, Muto, who is the girl with the headphones basically around her neck. Yes, now in the manga, Futo runs to her on the street. In the anime, he meets her in the store that they're just happily in. And she says she's there because, well, it's her grocery shopping. And of course they shop for some stuff. And then they come across this special contest, and the winner gets like 5 tickets to this hot spring. And of course, she also knows their grandfather lives near there. Though it turns out this is the place her grandfather works, apparently. So he enters the contest, so does she, and of course they both won it. Yep. And of course Futuro, being the kind guy he is, takes his father and his adorable little sister off this place, and just by sheer coincidence, the quintuplets are there with their father and their father's driver. Yes. Why in the world they're there? It just basically sheer coincidence. In the anime, it's never specifically say exactly. Apparently, their father is like, no, this is their adopted father. This is their stepfather, not their actual father. Yeah, he does appear in the series. He's mentioned a few times, but he doesn't exactly make a physical appearance per se. And he's there just for family private time with his daughters. I'm like, okay, that's actually quite nice of him to do. And then we have Isuka, who says, I'll talk to you later. Like, okay. And they go back to the inn. They meet the old man who looked like he's about to. Now, this is actually another change. Because in the manga, it was Futuro who talked to him. In the anime, it was his father and his sister talking to him, which, that's interesting. And he's leaning against a wall for some reason. Yes. And they also apparently cut out, they actually had this little moment, have a little cut to a little bit later, where he randomly sees Isuka just walking around the courtyard, the second floor. Yeah, this is set up for something a bit later. So he goes to the courtyard, but he just happens to on the stairs to talk to her because he just pushed her against the wall, not to do anything to her, just to chat. And then the old man comes around and says, "No, this is a slight word change. He says, don't touch my granddaughter," because in the manga, he says, don't touch my grandchild. And then, of course, Isuka talks to him the very next day, though, basically because he can't exactly move. And then, of course, Isuka calls him on his phone. He's like, oh, hi, Isuka, son. He's like, good morning, because apparently couldn't move. So his adorable sister picks up the phone. So they agree to meet. Of course, they can't exactly sneak out. Like, okay. Like I gotta go a place where we could chat while him knows and talk to us. And where's the place? The bath. He enters on one side and she goes to the other, and they chat for a while, and reveals that the one who actually he talked to the previous night was not the actual one. It was probably one of the other sisters. And another one just happily walks in, and he basically says, "Who are you?" And he still has trouble telling them apart. That's the problem. Yes, they're actually going to play this game. They're going to play something a little bit later. Well, presumably for next week, which is going to be interesting. Yeah, and they chat for a while and figure out who is the fake Isuka. And, like, mention that they're just friends. And, of course, he walks up. But before she comes in, he says this particular, like, warfare is like some hamburger sauce. Like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, just to confirm that's the actual person. Which, okay, that's actually pretty smart thing to do. It's like spy work. And, yeah, they agreed to figure out who was the one who was the fake Isuka previous night, and that's the episode for you. It's an interesting episode, to say the least. It's also quite odd, though, they didn't exactly throw in the ending from the manga, like the last few pages. Like, they cut that out for some strange reason. They went to, like, the fourth to last page, and then they stopped there. I don't know why, but they did. Yep. But, yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. Not much to say about it. It's really good. So, next I'll do talk about more comic history. Yes. See you next video. Bye.